Right now, without even trying, your brain is measuring you against someone else. Maybe it happened this morning. A friend posted a photo. A colleague got the promotion. Someone your age is already doing what you only dream about. And before you could stop it, a quiet voice asked, "Why not me?" You probably told yourself to stop. You know comparison is toxic. You've heard it 100 times. And yet the next time a number appears, a salary, a follower count, a square footage, your brain fires up the same calculation. Automatic, uninvited. Like a reflex you were never taught but have always had. That's not a character flaw. That's evolution. And the story of how it got inside you is far stranger than you think. In 1954, social psychologist Leon Festinger published what he called social comparison theory. His argument was simple and devastating. Humans have a fundamental drive to evaluate their own opinions and abilities. And when there's no objective measure available, no ruler, no scoreboard, they do it by looking at other people. Festinger wasn't describing a weakness, he was describing a survival mechanism. In the ancient world your brain was built for, knowing where you stood in your group was not a matter of vanity, it was a matter of life and death. If you were high in status, others would protect you. If your status was slipping, you needed to know fast so you could adapt. The brain that constantly scanned, compared, and adjusted was the brain that survived. The brain that didn't bother got left behind, literally. So your ancestors weren't the ones who stopped comparing. They were the ones who couldn't. And here you are. Festinger also noticed something else. People don't compare themselves to just anyone. They compare upward, to people slightly above them, or laterally, to peers, almost never downward. Why? Because downward comparisons don't give your brain useful information. A gap small enough to close is a target your brain can actually work with. That's what it's always looking for. Researchers Thomas Musweiler and Fritz Strack spent years studying this. Their work revealed that comparison isn't just an evaluation, it's a simulation. Your brain identifies the gap, then does one of two things. It motivates you to close it, or it quietly devalues the comparison to protect your self-image. Someone achieves something big and your brain whispers, "They probably just got lucky." That whisper isn't weakness. It's ancient self-protection. In 2011, researcher Hidehiko Takahashi scanned people's brains while they learned that peers had outperformed them. The region that lit up was the anterior cingulate cortex, the same part of the brain that processes physical pain. That sting when someone your age publishes a book or buys a house you've been dreaming about. Your brain processes it the same way it processes a bruise. Comparison pain is real pain. It evolved that way because in the ancient world, falling behind in social rank had real physical consequences. Your body learned to treat status loss as injury because functionally it was. But here's the part that changes everything. Your ancestors compared themselves to roughly 150 people they saw every day, whose full lives they understood, the struggles, the advantages, the context. Comparison was calibrated by knowledge. Now your brain is running that same ancient software while being fed thousands of curated highlight reels. Someone else's peak moment versus your ordinary Tuesday. Their filtered exterior versus your raw interior. Researcher Sherry Turkle at MIT spent years studying this and reached a sobering conclusion. We now live in a world where people constantly perform the best version of themselves for an audience, and the audience compares their inside to everyone else's outside. It is the most lopsided comparison in human history. You can't fully stop the drive. It runs too deep, but you can redirect it. Psychologist Constantine Sedikides has studied what happens when people compare themselves not to others, but to earlier versions of themselves. The brain still gets the gap it's looking for. The motivation still fires, but the social threat response is quieter because there's no rival, no rank competition, no ancient alarm signal telling you that your survival is at stake. You versus you, same drive, completely different outcome. The next time you feel that quick, involuntary sting, the one that asks, "Why not me?" notice what's actually happening. Your brain is running a calculation older than language. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. It's scanning for a gap it can close. The only thing you control is what you pointed at. Right now, without even trying, your brain is looking for something to measure itself against. The only question that has ever mattered is whether you're pointing it at someone else's highlight reel or at who you were yesterday.